Hey guys, it's Amy Welch. I am a Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I have only been with the company for 15 months. And so I just want to share my story with you guys in hopes that it could help you in your journey. I did not want to work this business. I wanted nothing to do with it. I was actually kind of a butthead about it. My upline, Sarah Taylor, will tell you. I actually told her not to add me to her team page because I was only in it for the discount. I was an executive. I'd been in higher education for almost 15 years, master's degree, and I've actually written 2 books. So I thought I was smart and that I knew it all and that I knew this was a scam and people couldn't make money with network marketing. So I didn't want anything to do with it. Luckily, Sarah Taylor treats all of her new ambassadors exactly the same, even the wholesalers, which is a good, I always use that as an example for my team. That's why you always add your wholesalers to the team page. That's why you always send them the compensation plan and the chart. And that's why you always get them on the 3-way calls. Because if she hadn't, I would not be here. So that's the beginning of my story. I even told my husband when we first started Plexus not to tell anybody because I didn't think it was going to work. And I didn't want anybody to know. I was embarrassed. But pretty much immediately within the first week, I felt such a difference that I had to share because I knew I had other friends, especially other new moms. I was a new mom at the time who could benefit from these products. And so I shared on Facebook just because I wanted my friends to know about Plexus, not necessarily because I was interested in the business. And then as people started being interested, I decided then with my upline's help that, yeah, okay, maybe I could do this. I went to my first opportunity meeting. I'd only been on the products for 2 weeks. And let me tell you again, I did not want to go to that opportunity meeting. It was the one run by corporate, but my upline is pretty relentless. I didn't know her before Plexus. We were strangers. And I didn't want to go. And she was relentless. I had thrown every excuse at the book and she threw it back at me. And finally she came to pick me up and I'd run out of excuses. That moment changed my life. When I heard Alec Clark and I heard the other diamonds at that opportunity meeting here in Houston, I knew that this was where I was supposed to be. I knew this was the company I was supposed to work for. And I, that night, decided to be all in. When I made that decision to be all in, my business just took off. And it has not slowed down since. That was 15 months ago. I ranked a Sapphire on my 1-year anniversary. So part of it with me, I do think that my network was pretty warm and was pretty open and receptive to Plexus. I was pretty active on Facebook already, and I think, I was just one of those people that had some of that social influence that we talk about. So when I started posting about I started posting to Facebook about Plexus, people were interested. But that is not the only thing, though, that got me starting so quickly and going so fast. So I fast started gold in 2 weeks because, I wasted those 2 weeks of not wanting to work the business. So I fast started gold. And I really think a part of that is because when I made that decision to be all in, I never missed a meeting. We had opportunity meetings here in Houston. I never missed one. Now, I never had any potentials go with me, but I always showed up. I never missed a team call that my uplines were running. In fact, back then, it seems like back then so long ago, we weren't even doing Zoom calls yet. They were still the phone calls. So I never missed a call, and I worked my business every single day. I showed up. Even, there were days when I didn't want to, but I tell my team a lot, you got to fake it until you make it. At the time, I was working over 40 hours a week, like I said, as an executive. I had a 1-hour commute each way, and I had a baby. By the time I would get home, many nights, it was like 7 o'clock, and I was exhausted. And the last thing, that I would want to do is do more work, but I did because I knew that I wanted this business to succeed, and I had made that decision that I was going to be successful. And I do think one thing that helped me, because I was brand new to network marketing, right? Like I was the biggest skeptic. I thought it was a scam. So I certainly didn't know what I was doing when I started. I was very, very coachable. My upline at the time, she was Senior Ruby. So I'm like, you know what? She knows what she's doing. I did whatever she told me to do. So when she said you got to post every day, I was posting every day. When she said I had to send follow-up messages every day, that's what I did. But I get it, guys. It's hard when you are working outside of the home and you have a family, but you have to find that time. So one thing I would do, I would wake up 30 minutes earlier several days during the week before my family would, and I would knock out some emails. I would work on my lunch hour several days during the week, whether it was sitting at my desk in my office, listening to training videos, YouTube videos while I ate my lunch, or it was using that time to send messages to people. And then several times on the weekends, I would wake up at least an hour before the family, and I would run to Starbucks and I would just knock out a whole bunch of plexus work. So I showed up every single day, even on those days, when I was home because the baby was sick or we were on vacation. I never missed a day of doing those basics for my business, posting, sending messages to follow-ups, and working my list. So I did have fast growth. Guys, this time last year, in June at convention, I wasn't even going to go. I was still pretty new. I joined in March. In June at convention, I had just hit senior gold. And, I again was reinvigorated at convention and again made that commitment that I wanted to hit Emerald in October because that was my birthday. So when the Leaders Retreat contest started last year, I was senior gold. By the time it came around, I was senior ruby at Leaders Retreat. I earned all of the prizes up to the big check, and that was just amazing to me to know that a brand new ambassador who was senior gold was able to be up on that stage with all of those other jewels earning that big check. And then I hit Emerald in October. Now, what got me, though, to senior ruby did not get me to Emerald. It was a big eye-opener for me. When I told my upline that I wanted to hit Emerald in October, she said, okay, you can do it, but you've got to add 100 people every month on your team. The most we had ever added, and it was like a crazy growth month, was 40 people. And so I thought she was crazy, but I knew that she believed in me, and if she thought I could do it, I could. But I had to change my ways. That is when I hit Senior Ruby, I realized that I had to become a leader for my team. I had to empower my team to also be leaders, and I had to take control of our success. Up until that point, I really had gotten to Senior Ruby, just all of us kind of doing our own IPAs every day. I had a team page, but I didn't do a whole lot on it. I really leaned on my upline's team page and just tagged people in what she did. So when I got to Senior Ruby and I knew I wanted to hit Emerald in a few months, that's when I focused on my team. I focused on their goals. I forgot about my rank, and I started focusing on how I could help my team rank. Silver, gold, senior gold, on up. I started doing my own new ambassador trainings and not relying on my upline's new ambassador training. So I started doing my own. I started doing my own team calls with my team. And you know what, guys? On those first couple of calls, I only had a handful of people, but I kept doing it, and I did it every week. I started doing my own phone calls too, right? So you've probably heard other people say how important that phone call is in those three-way calls. I projected so bad about those three-way calls, and I did not do them for the longest time because I just assumed, one, I don't like the phone. I'm not a phone person. My best friend and I, we don't even talk on the phone. We text all day long. So I projected that onto other people. I'm like, people don't talk on the phone anymore. They text, they message. Nobody has time for a three-way phone call. That was a mistake. The minute I started doing that, I saw my business and my team's business start exploding again. So a lot of times when you have a lot of these other jewels in the company and they are telling you that something works, you need to do it. Even though the great thing about Plexus is we all have our own strengths and we can use those strengths in our business and we can all run our business the same way. When there are multiple jewels telling us that three-way calls are effective, then we need to look and we need to step outside of our comfort zone, and we need to do those. So that was kind of an eye-opener for me. I started also doing leadership trainings with my team and really helping them become leaders. So that was the big turning point for me, changing my focus from just running my daily business to really empowering my team and helping my team. And so I hope that is helpful for you guys. Not everyone has a fast journey like I do. And so sometimes I feel like people see that and they don't think you can have that quick momentum and that growth, but you can. Even if you are stuck, you guys can have the growth and get those ranks that you want. You really have to look at yourself, make that decision to be all in, and don't let anything get in your way. One thing I did is I visualized myself at Emerald in October. I knew it was going to happen. Now, I was scared to death. I didn't know if we'd be able to add that many, but I never once doubted it and said I can't. I never let that negative talk come in. I was always positive, and I knew that I was going to do it. And so I hope this was helpful for you guys. I am so excited about this group. I'm so excited to learn from you guys because I certainly still haven't gotten it figured out. So I'm excited to learn from everybody, and I'm excited for you guys to learn from us too.